All right, you're good.
All right, awesome. So, welcome to IGDA, everybody, on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon.
I like how we've been using the same theme, but just changing the colors.
Shh, that's an industry secret. Okay, so events that are coming up soon. We've got the career fair, which is, I believe, on the 19th. It's on a later slide. Uh, there's actually two different festivals that are going to be going on this month too, that are pretty cool. They're going to include like workshops and stuff. So the first one is the career fair. It's February 19th. You can sign up on Handshake. It's completely online. And I don't know how many of you have gone to the career fair in the past, but because everything's online this year, it's going to work a little bit differently. So you actually sign up for either group sessions or one-on-one sessions with the companies that you want. And the one-on-one sessions are great because like they allow you to basically ask whatever questions that you want without any type of distractions or anything. And you can kind of network with whoever you're talking to.
So it's sort of like an
And
interview then, right?
yeah,
Okay.
and you can like get their like LinkedIn or something to keep contact with them, and it can, in many cases, lead to a job or an internship. So I'd recommend going. What?
Here, your show anyway.
Huh. Okay.
What didn't load?
Probably an image.
Okay. Hmm.
Okay, so next is the Tinderbox Festival. So it's going on for like 2 weeks or so. It just includes a bunch of different workshops and discussions from different game developers and, on different aspects of game dev, like music, art, programming, stuff like that. So you can go to that link and register. It's broken up into individual events, so you have to register for things individually. But I believe it's like pay what you want, so it can be free if you want. Okay, next is the Call for Change Summit. It's the 25th through the 26th. It's pretty similar to the last one, workshops, fireside chats by different companies, and you can register at that link. So now on to the main thing, resume stuff. It's job season. So that means that you should be looking, or if you want to find a job, you need to have a good resume to be able to do that. It helps a lot. So I'm going to be going over a couple of different things and tips for what to put on your resume and how to make it stand out.
And as someone who's been looking through game-related jobs and internships, I can also talk about some things you should prep for as well if you get an interview.
This is going to be like from just like a technology, like a STEM-based perspective. So like I'm going to talk about certain things related to game dev, but a lot of the things I talk about can be related to other things as well. So this is just an intro as to why you should care about having a good resume. So having a good resume allows you to stand out among other applicants that are applying for the same position as you. So that's important because the two main parties that look at your resume are like resume scanning bots and recruiters. And bots, they kind of look for different things in a resume. The resume scanners are just looking to see if there's specific keywords or different things that they flag that can either put you in like a good light or a bad light. And recruiters, um, they look through, since they're humans, they're looking through a lot of resumes. So they want to see something that is specific to the position that you're applying for and something that just kind of makes them keep you in their mind. And they're looking for skills that translate well to potential job functions and responsibilities. Okay, so these are just general resume formatting tips. So you should make sure to have clear sections of your resume, like education. We'll get into them later, but like skills and projects and stuff. Like make sure to have specific sections, and each section should just contain bullet points talking about whatever position or project that you are talking about. Uh, Make sure to include contact information. That seems like a no-brainer, but it'd really stink if somebody saw a resume that they liked and they had no way of contacting you. So that's important. Uh, Check to see if there's typos or not. Just run it through some sort of like spell check or something, because if there are typos on your resume, it kind of shows the recruiter that you're not really as serious as some of the other applicants are. So it doesn't look good. Um, there are differing opinions about the one-page thing, but I would say that for because recruiters look through so many resumes and they're going to be going through them quickly, you're going to try. It'd probably be best for you as a college student to keep it to one page, unless you like have something that's really, really interesting or important to you that you think you should include and takes more than one page. And since we're all engineers here or programmers, uh, try to include a GitHub link as well, just so that they can look through any type of projects that you made if they want.
What if you don't use like GitHub? Like, what if you have like a portfolio site or something like that? I mean, just send that then, or
That is also definitely a good thing that you should put on your resume. They're kind of interchangeable. Like if you have a personal portfolio website or if you have a GitHub, you can kind of choose one or the other or both if you want.
okay.
Just kind of some way to showcase your projects.
Is one preferred generally? I mean, I know GitHub's more popular, but I'm not sure if that's exactly what they're looking for.
I don't think that most have a preference.
Okay, all right, that's good to know. Thank you.
No problem. So this is about the like education section of a resume. So that's where you would be putting your like NJIT um, degree and any community college degrees you have. You don't really want to put anything before that because it's not really important to most recruiters. Include your expected graduation date too. That's pretty important for job positions. Uh, GPA is something that isn't most of the time necessary to include on a resume. If they ask for it, then include it. But if they don't, then I'd say that if it's below like a 3.5 or maybe like a 3.3, then you should probably just not put it on. You can also place relevant coursework there as well. So you can modify it based on the positions that you're applying to. So like if let's say that you're applying to be like a network engineer somewhere and you took some type of like computer networking class, then you should definitely put that in the required or the relevant coursework so that they know that you have experience in the field that you're applying to. And you can also put any different types of honors and scholarships and stuff like that there. Like if you're an honor student, you can include that.
Have you ever had an interviewer like specifically ask you for your GPA or something like that?
No.
Okay.
Sometimes when you're looking at a job application, it'll specifically ask, but um, other times they don't mention it. So if you don't feel like your GPA is very strong, then you don't have to mention it at all.
Perfect.
Okay, so this is about the skills section of a resume, which is pretty important for um, any type of STEM or like art or animation part of game dev as well. So that's where you highlight things like what type of programming languages you know, what type of game engines or frameworks you're familiar with, stuff like that. And I I recently had like a resume review from somebody who works at like in the industry, and they were specifically saying that you should rank the different programming languages or frameworks or whatever by how proficient you are in them. So if your best programming language is like, let's say, Python, then make sure to rank that first, because some people will assume that anyway. So you don't want to give them the wrong impression by just kind of ordering them randomly. Okay, so experience. This is where you'd put anything like any types of jobs or internships or like research positions or something like that that you've ever had. They don't always have to be necessarily like STEM related or like software engineering or game dev related, as long as you can highlight some of those accomplishments and responsibilities there. So like if you did use technologies, make sure to highlight them. Highlight leadership and teamwork, because at companies you're most likely going to be working on a team, and they want to make sure that you're somebody who can actually do that. And anything that highlights your work ethic as well is pretty important.
Yeah, I see GPA being a pretty good reflection of your work ethic, usually.
That too, yeah.
So, shit, that's all I have to say.
And I know that like filling out an experience section can be kind of hard when you're in college, because not all of us have had internships or anything like that. And if you've had any other type of job, you can list that as well. And I'm going to go into like the next section.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like,
like if you've had, like, it doesn't have to be related to uh, like game dev or something like that. Like, as long as you can highlight like the leadership and teamwork and the work ethic.
okay. Alright, I gotcha. I was told, like they don't care about retail or whatever, just don't even bother them with that. But,
Well, I'd say that like maybe only put one. Like if you worked many different retail jobs, then probably just put the latest one that you've worked at.
or the longest one, I guess.
Yeah, and also think about how you could highlight those type of skills.
Right, yeah. Yeah, spin it so it's, like, actually relevant.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying you, I don't know, delivered carts to people at Acme. Alright, thanks.
Oh, no problem. I'm about to go a little bit more into it, and this can also relate to the next section as well. But when you're talking about any type of experience that you had, it's it's a good practice to format them in this like action context result format, which is also called the STAR method. So it highlights what you did, then information like how you did it, any type of hardships that you face while doing it, and why it matters, and the result, which is what happened. So it could be something like you developed a game using Unity on a team or something like that, and it happened to get like X amount of like stars on GitHub or something like that. The result doesn't always have to be quantified. Like if you try to quantify it if you can, though, because resume scanners love to see any type of like hard numbers for any type of thing that you've done. But if you can't, then it's okay too. And this method is also great for answering interview questions, like at a behavioral interview. So if, let's say, a hiring manager asks you about a project that you worked on and any types of hardships that you faced, you can use this kind of action context result to be able to quickly get through it, like let them know everything they need to know, and kind of tell a story to invest them in. So this is just kind of going through the STAR method again. Okay, so the project section of your resume. This is something that I would say is very important for college students, especially if they don't have as much experience. So because we're working in game dev and software engineering, we have a lot of autonomy in the type of projects that we can pick. So you can pick anything from class projects to any type of hackathon or game jam projects you worked on, or any passion projects outside of school. You should try to mention you should mention the technologies that you've used, because that can demonstrate to the employer what you know and how well you know it. So, and also when you're formatting the bullet points, you can also use action context result if, let's say that whatever project you were working on is on GitHub or was used in any type of production. And try to really think about why the recruiter or hiring manager should care about what project you're working on. So uh, how did it impact things? How much impact did it have? What type of things did you learn while doing it? Could even mention how difficult it was for you to do it. Working on a team as well is important because working on a team is something you'll be doing. So they want to know how well you can do that in the context of a type of software engineering project. And was the project interesting? I've heard certain recruiters talk about just reading through a bunch of resumes, and every single project that they see is like the exact same. So that can kind of be a turnoff and really kind of make you just not unique at all, which is not what you want. So I'd say that the more unique a project is and the better it fits the job position that you're applying for, like the better your odds are. Any questions? Okay. Oh, is that a question?
Oh, what,
Okay.
me?
Yeah, no,
Uh,
I thought. Yeah.
I was thinking of something. I just like how you put the more unique projects are better. Um, I was wondering if anything is really like too off topic, like I guess like YouTube channels or kind of stuff like that. But I don't know.
I'd say usually when we're talking about projects, we're talking about like specifically within like game programming and software engineering, like programming projects or something
Gotcha.
like that. So something to just highlight like what things you know, how well you know them, and how you use them too. Because if you used it in an interesting way, that's something that like hiring managers take note of. Like and also you can use it to your advantage too. So like I was filing out a Twilio application the other day, and on the application it asked what type of like projects that you have done that have used Twilio's API. So that's like a very, I guess, good opportunity for you to be able to actually like create some sort of interesting project to be able to get their attention.
Okay.
So when they're actually going through and picking who they want to go for the next steps of the interview process, they'll like keep you in their mind.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. That's really useful information.
No problem. It also gives you something to talk about during the interview. Like they'll see it and it'll probably be like, huh, this seems pretty interesting. So could you go into more detail about it? Like once I had an interview and I had my game like mod on my resume for Quake 4 or for Quake 2, and the interviewee or interviewer thought it was interesting, so they asked me to go into more detail on it.
The Quake 2 mod, what a play.
Yeah, this was sophomore year, but yeah, it's different, it's interesting, so something that they caught their eye.
Cool. Great.
And this slide's just talking about other sections that you can put on your resume. So you can include extracurricular activities, though keep them relevant to the industry that you're applying for, and try like it's also pretty preferable if you have like a leadership role or something in the club that you're in. And then you can also mention in the bullet points like the action context result. So like if you ever did anything for the club, like hosted any type of like event or something like that, you can mention that. Any type of like just leadership role like that. Make sure if you speak, if you're like bilingual or trilingual, to mention that on your resume, because that can honestly be a deciding factor in certain job positions. And certifications are another way for you to stand out amongst the crowd. So if you have any that are relevant to the job, put them on your resume. So how can I check if my resume is good? Glad
Send
you
it to
asked.
DJ.
Yeah, that is a way. So because the two people who look at your resume are resume scanners and recruiters, you kind of have to use different ways of gauging your resume based on who's looking at it. So a good way to check for the scanners is to use like online software that basically do the same thing and will score your resume based on how well they think it has a chance of like passing through its like criteria. So there's one called Resume Worded. It's pretty good. I've been using it for a couple months now, and it really it gives you a lot of good advice. It it's free, though it has like a couple of things that are hidden behind the paywall, but it doesn't really matter. Like the stuff that it gives you through its free version is enough. Um, NJIT's career development services also offer resume reviews for students, so you can use that. They're they're very good actually. A lot of people don't actually know about CDS, but uh, if you utilize them, they can definitely help you out. And there's also professors that are willing to look at your resume, like DJ, if you ask nicely. Um, I'm sure that a lot of your professors would be willing to help you out, because at the end of the day, you're in college so that you can get a job. Okay, I finished my resume. I'm done. Eh, not quite. So having a good resume is important, and it will definitely help you out, but it's really only one part of the job process. Because once you've actually given your resume in and they ask for next steps, now you're in the door, but like you have to keep going so that you can actually get somewhere. So some resources to help with that could be Handshake. That's where NJIT's Career Development Services is. So if you have any type of questions about how to get good at like technical or behavioral interviews, you can ask there. And you can also apply for jobs there as well. LinkedIn is basically the same thing, except from what I've seen, it has more game dev jobs and software engineering jobs. Um, there's another platform called Jumpstart. It's not as popular as the other two, but I'd say that it is very good because it allows you to see the recruiting process for different companies. So like if you type a company in, they have a Jumpstart profile. You can see like the deadlines, like different networking events, so that you can actually meet people who work there and ask them questions, stuff like that. And IGDA, like eBoard, put together a Google Doc with a bunch of different game development internships on it. If you check in announcements and scroll up a bit, it should be in there. So I would definitely recommend that if you're looking for an internship to apply to some of them on there. I think there's like probably around 50, so you'll have a good pick. Check out the jobs and internships channel too. Ethan, like a fellow eBoard member, actually gave me a different Discord server that it's now following, so it's constantly getting different like internships and jobs from that server. And just more general advice would be to practice both technical and behavioral interviews. To be able to do that, you can go on websites like HackerRank and LeetCode. They have a lot of great technical problems. You network with the companies that you want to get into. It's kind of hard to get into a company by just sending your resume out into the void. So it makes it much easier when you actually know somebody who works there, because not only can you put them down as a reference, but they can actually kind of help you skip a step, like by sending your resume to a hiring manager right away. So sometimes you might not even have to apply on the site. And make sure that you research the companies that you apply to. So you don't want to like get into a company interview and actually not know what the company's about. That'd be pretty bad. And just be confident. I know like a lot of us, I know I do, struggle with imposter syndrome and stuff like that. And just be confident in the things that you know, because you know a lot. You wouldn't be at NJIT if you didn't. So just do your best. These are some links that helped me out in making my resume. DJ actually had a Reddit post last year with a lot of great information about how you can format it and what to put on it. Twitter has like a kind of mock resume that's in a format that they like. And this is just some more info on the action context result. Okay. Anybody have any questions or anything like that?
Yeah, where's that Google Doc you mentioned?
It's in the announcements.
Oh, announcements, got it.
So if you scroll up, it should be in the past one. I'll put it in the meeting chat too
Okay.
after this is over.
Alright, could you put that in resources so I can pin it?
Oh, sure.
Thanks.
Anybody else?
Um, no, I don't think so. That was all very informative.
Cool. I'm glad it was.
Very well spoken.
Thank you.
Was.
I went ahead and posted the link in there.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Trout.
Also, if you get lucky, or not lucky, that's if you manage to snag an interview, study. Specifically study if it's game related. Usually it will always be some variation of 3D math, so linear algebra, how do you get what a cross product is, what a dot product is, that kind of stuff. Get that out of the way, figure out what C, C++, and C# are. Those are popular languages. So knowing them very well will help. Just study, but also study the company. It can be fun or actually pretty interesting, because companies can have some interesting histories, like Ubisoft. They've been some weird places. Like they used to have their first game studio was a chateau in the middle of nowhere, because the Guillemot brothers, who were the founders, they came from a rich family, so they were able to have like this fucking random villa, like this extra house they turned into a studio, which was really interesting to read about.
It also shows that the company that you are like interested specifically in them, because like when you're just applying on the website, like that's why networking is so important too, because applying just on the website is kind of just saying I want a job, right? But by like networking and learning more about the company and mentioning certain things like that during an interview, you're like displaying that you want a job specifically at this company, right? So like let's say that you are applying for um, like you said, Ubisoft, and you're aware of like a recent project that they just released, and you mentioned that in the interview, and like let's say that you're like mention specific things about it, like oh you really like the way that like a certain mechanic was designed, or like the narrative direction or something like that. It can kind of display your enthusiasm, which recruiters and hiring managers like to see.
I know you mentioned uh like extracurriculars and leadership positions earlier, and I was just talking about how we're gonna need e-board for next year, so if you're interested in that, stick around. Especially if you want
Also,
to
oh,
go in.
sorry.
No, 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 you can go.
I was just gonna say, also buy a whiteboard. Be ready to not just code, but also break down your ideas. If you're gonna be doing a technical interview,
Oh, that's a really good
so
idea.
just yeah. So on top of studying, also remember to just not overwhelm yourself. Don't cram the night before. Get plenty of sleep. Make sure you wake up in a nice, fresh mood, ready to think. Use the noggin. Don't just regurgitate.
Absolutely. And make sure that you're like saying or like speaking out loud your thought process when you're going through a problem. Because if you don't, especially since we're online, whoever's interviewing you is going to have no idea if you're stuck or not. So you should actually let them know if you're stuck, so that that there's just not this awkward silence. Like I haven't written anything down in like 3 minutes, and they don't know what's going on.
Communication is key.
Right, especially online, because internet barriers and the such. It'd be pretty awkward if you thought your internet was crashing.
I think the CS490 professor right now, he's from Facebook. I'm pretty sure he's actually giving mock interviews right now, like for technical interviews.
Oh,
Well,
So
that's pretty cool.
that's
yeah,
pretty cool. 490, you said, right?
yeah, CS490.
Gotcha.
Go ambush him.
We're in the same history class, right? Uh,
Us?
no. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry. Joe something.
What?
Yeah,
Me?
yeah, yo.
What's up?